This is Jonathan with Defense Innovation, and today we're going to be going through the use of deployment and how you can effectively deploy our less lethal projectiles as well as our training and other rounds that we have in our arsenal. First, I'm going to go through the loading of the magazine. So all of your systems that you've purchased, that you have in your possession now, should have a 20 round magazine. This magazine is fed continuously from one side to the next through a track. So with your package, you will have received a pair of this device. This is what we call the loading rod. What you'll do is you'll insert this loading rod all the way down into the magazine, push it, press it down until it locks the follower back. And as you can see here, the track is now empty for you to load your projectiles. Depending on the projectiles that you're loading into the magazine, you do not have to lock back the follower, but we always recommend for the PAVA, for the inert training rounds, the odor rounds, etc. What that does is it allows you to not have any spring tension as you're loading the rounds into the magazine itself and as it locks back into the follower once you insert into the magazine well. I'm going to be loading in some of the polymer. These rounds are great for less lethal. They're great for practice and targeting. All you're going to do is you're going to insert the rounds into the magazine as so. Pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and put these through until you get about 20. Once you get to the track, these rounds will automatically fill through the magazine. You don't need to do anything. There's no tension or anything like that. The follower and the door here will actually hold the rounds back until it enters the magazine. Well, this track right here, every unit that you have has an activator pin that pushes down on this piece and allows for the projectiles to be fed. It releases the follower inside the magazine with a spring to feed into the system. What I'm going to do is going to demonstrate these polymer rounds. Right now I have a target, life-size mannequin target with no padding, just a black jacket as I'm wearing here as well. I'm going to show you the effective places to deploy these rounds. Obviously, our systems have a maximum range distance that of about, depending on the projectile, there's a saturation point and also an effective hit point, and that will be probably around 65 feet plus depending on the projectile. Each individual system comes with a performance barrel with spiraled rifling, which is going to give you the best consistency with a 360 degree spherical round. So right now I'm at a distance of about 65, almost 70 feet. I'm going to deploy these polymer rounds center mass. When you're, depending on the subject or subjects that you're going to be deploying these systems on, depending on the round, the polymer rounds, great effective ranges to hit would be the chest and the legs above the kneecaps. These rounds will allow you to definitely incapacitate a subject in the legs that may be coming after you, etc. For the PAVA, the powder, the rubber, any area on the body, most effectively, obviously center mass, always with any of our projectiles is going to be the best point of impact. But the polymer rounds, because of their dense polymer composition above the kneecaps or the kneecaps themselves, will allow for a Charlie horse type impact. It definitely incapacitating that subject in the legs and allowing him to hit the floor before he reaches a target or reaches you. So I'm gonna go ahead and deploy that for you right now. I'll show you. I have two units with me today. I have the LL1 Special. This is the unit of choice in my opinion for less lethal deployment. It is very compact, it's easy to store and deploy. It has a 360 degree almost key mod rail, allows you to use any mil spec accessories, a Tapco, you have a PEC box style laser sight, etc. When you deploy this system, you want to insert the magazine from the bottom with aggression, push that out, go ahead and we will deploy at target now. As you can see, if you could see that all of the rounds were directly in the stomach area of this system, as well as a few below the waist, which is I wanted to demonstrate the impact of the knee. Once this projectile hits your subject, it is going to be very difficult for them to move forward, as like I said, the composition of these rounds is completely polymer. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate the rubber rounds now, as well as the inert, before I demonstrate the PAVA. The rubber rounds are solid material, not solid material, I'm sorry. It's a rubber composition. It's very, very strong, and they can be reused multiple times. So if you're in the field for law enforcement officers or military personnel that deploy the rubber projectiles at a subject, you can pick them up and administer them into evidence if need be. So these rounds are completely reusable. They're also extremely durable. They will withstand many types of weather, and they are extremely, extremely powerful. So go ahead and demonstrate that for you in the same LL1 launcher. So as you can see there, the projectiles, as they hit through the target, you will have a cloud-like substance be emit from those projectiles. So I'm going to save some of these rounds. I want to show you on the LL1E. The LL1E here is an electronic 3-round burst system. It's also looks just like the UMP-45. This unit is extremely, extremely light, versatile, and great. All of our systems offer the realism factor. With a lot of law enforcement and use of force policies out there, you definitely sometimes require the orange or yellow grip, as you see on your already issued tasers or other less lethal deployment devices. This is definitely on a department by department standard, but one thing that we pride ourselves on is definitely the realism of our units. And the reason for these units and why we offer the realistic factor is because most of the time, if you're holding this unit with confidence and you are aiming it at a subject, just the visual of this unit, they will not be able to decipher between real steel firearm or less lethal deployment, which works in your advantage. Some subjects may even surrender before deployment of the actual system. So I'm going ahead and demonstrate this for you. Same factor here. Go in semi-automatic just to show you the inert round and how it implodes on a subject. I'll show you the 3-round burst. Okay, that's actually the end of the magazine here. I'll show you now with the PAVA. I have the 0.5% PAVA and also the 10x PAVA that you will see the cloud that it's able to emit. Obviously with the PAVA, you always want to hit center mass. As the unit and projectile implodes on the subject, it's going to create a 360-degree cloud that's going to move up into his airway, his mouth, his nose. It's going to be able to be effectively distributed into his nervous system if hit in center mass. So I'll show you that right now. Show you the 3-round burst. That is the deployment of our less lethal launcher as well as our less lethal projectiles. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us at defenseinnovation.com. Thank you.